Many of you are off to university this year, and I want to talk to you about the best tips that you can keep in mind whether you're a first year or you're in one of your latter years of university degree. So I'm not going to talk to you about any of the typical YouTube guru tips about productivity and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, doing 10,000 hours of work. I'm not going to talk to you about that. The first thing I want to talk about is the reason why you are there. It's very important that you ground yourself and remind yourself why you have started university. When the times are tough, when you're struggling in revision for your final year exams, or when you're struggling to get any motivation to do your prelims, right? This is really going to come back and help you. So reread that first line of your personal statement. No, really, you know that corny, cheesy line that you wrote for your personal statement? That will come back and help you remember why you are studying that subject. So you really need to ground yourself to be able to do other more extravagant things from the base that is a university degree. That moves us swiftly onto point number 2, which is university is not just about getting that piece of paper. If you look at it from a shallow perspective, yes, that's what it is. You know, you get a rubber stamp that you studied at a particular university, you've got a particular qualification. But more so for me, it is about what you do around that time and what experience you have around that. I'm talking about networking, I'm talking about joining clubs and societies, and I'm really just talking about taking in the experience of that multicultural, international, diverse community that you will interact with. Most of us grow up in the same local area for your primary school, secondary school, sixth form, and it's really only when you get to university do you see a wide array of students. You have a lot to take in at university other than just your degree. Make sure you are networking. And I personally never did this. And it is one of my regrets that I wish I had networked more whilst I was at university. I have friends and colleagues who studied and networked at the same time, and they went on to start really great and lucrative companies. Here's an example of a friend of mine from a society at university who really spent his time networking whilst he was at university. And after he left university, he leveraged that network to set up a multi-million-dollar company, raising hundreds of millions of pounds for his automated background identity checker called Onfido. Now, he's just one example from many on how you can really grow. Another classic example is Gymshark CEO Ben Francis. Like you guys, he was attending university, but at the same time, he really utilized his time outside of university to start his entrepreneurial venture. Now it is well worth over $1 billion. And the other advantage of networking and reaching out to other people is you're going to find your niche. You're going to find people like you, like, I don't know, playing Harry Potter Quidditch games. Well, you'd be surprised to know there are societies where you can actually go and play Quidditch as a game. There was even a society that I signed up for Bants to, which was a live action role-playing society. So what people did, quite literally, they would send out emails earlier in the week, say, these people are going to go attack these people. And what they would do is they would wait outside the lecture room and stand there with a pretend weapon of their choice. So normally like a pen or something, and they wouldn't actually physically harm you, but it's like a role play type of thing. If they get you, then you're out the game. Sounds ridiculous as it does. Societies like this exist in universities like Oxford. If you have a niche interest, you can bet that there is a society that exists for it. If it doesn't, you're more than welcome to start one, of course. Whatever your interests, you'll be able to find your tribe of people at university. Point number 3 is specific knowledge. Build specific knowledge. This is a concept from a famous angel investor called Naval Ravikant. Now, he talks about the fact that you need to layer your knowledge so you are the best person at a specific thing. So let's say, for example, you are doing an engineering degree. Yes, an engineering degree gives you a layer of credibility above others who don't have an engineering degree, but there are still thousands of people who have an engineering degree. Now, if you were to layer your engineering degree with, let's say, an ability to build products and have a portfolio of building products, now you're suddenly in a very small group of maybe a few hundred or a few thousands that can have an engineering degree and also have some practical experience. Now, if we add another layer on top of that, let's say, for example, you are also a YouTuber. Now, suddenly you've got 3 layers to yourself, and there's only very few people that are all 3 of these. Now, imagine you're also a good teacher. So you're an engineer, you can build products, you have a YouTube channel, and you're a good teacher. Now, suddenly you're in the maybe 10s and 20s. There's only maybe 10 or 20 people like you. So suddenly these specific knowledge pieces will add up to give you a really competitive advantage in the modern world. Because in the modern world, a degree on its own doesn't really hold a huge amount of value. So you have to build specific knowledge. An example of this is Mark Rober, who was a NASA engineer, and then he went on to use his ability to build products, ability to storytell, and having a YouTube channel really gave him a whole new lease of life by himself. So he is one of a kind in the world because he's stacked all of these things in his favor. A side note to building specific knowledge is I would heavily recommend that you do an internship. So start applying for internships in the first year. Don't wait till you're in the final year to start looking for internships. And this will stack up as part of your specific knowledge because you also have real life experience working at companies. So this is all part of stacking and building your specific knowledge. So you're only one of a kind, and therefore you're a very valuable asset and thus always employable. Talking about specific skills, one of the most important specific skills that you can build is learning how to research. You'll be required to do this all throughout your undergraduate degree, as well as your future career, whether that's you starting your own business or working for someone else. I've compiled an amazing list of resources in this video right here. Check it out if you want to learn how to be an expert researcher. Here's a pro tip for adding further skills to your specific knowledge set. Subscribe to this channel.